All right. Let's give this a little time and see if everybody can catch up. Um,
Anybody on there besides me?
I don't see anybody on here at the moment. It was like the whole thing just crashed. Okay, there's Heather's back. You're back, right? Bree's back. Okay, cool.
I see it.
We'll give it a little more time before I do anything. See if I can get everybody else back.
Jay screwed something up.
I did something wrong. I hit something. I don't know. I killed the camera. Uh, anyway, Kyle, what's up, Keith? Uh, Psycho's back. Right on. You're here, brother. All right. You guys are coming back. Okay. We got 7. I think most people have caught back up to it. Okay, cool. Let's move on then. Let's see if we can make this happen and not screw the stream up. Let's see if we can add a little bit. I want to darken this first. Yeah, that looks. Ooh, that's gonna pour. That should go through the airbrush pretty good. Oh, right on. I'm back on this dude. I'm gonna see if we can get him painted up tonight and be done. You're trying to get everything ready for MHC though, right, Keith? From all your videos. Oh wow, that was way whoa, buddy. Okay. Woo. That's interesting. That didn't take much black to turn that orange. Not orange anymore.
Maybe it's really liquidy, is why, maybe.
Yeah, wow. That's different. Let's take just a little bit of this. She's beating on the floor.
He said, oh yeah, MHC rush. Oh well.
Yeah, wow, okay. This stuff, all right, standard cheap acrylics on acrylics. It actually takes quite a bit to tone your stuff down, but this junk here, it tones down fast. Holy cow.
Okay. So look at both of them. The first thing and the second comment. They have all this for my garden. Yeah, he posted something right before we lost, saying something about he's been following you for a long time.
Yeah, what did you say, Psycho? And do it again. I appreciate that, brother. That support really helps out.
I think it has something to do with owning this.
Were you talking about owning this, or were you talking about you bought some other pumpkin dill, or was it this thing?
I need to remember. You're gonna spray me.
Yeah, you might want to scoot over that way a little bit. That may get.
One day, okay, yeah, here you said that.
Okay. That may get on you a little bit there.
Wow. But what if I unplug something now?
Well, hopefully you won't. I would hate to start this over again for a third time.
They'd come back. They love us.
But I would do it if I had to. Oh. All right. Hey, it's going to get noisy, peeps, because this little airbrush pump's right here with me. Like I said, we don't got a lot of fancy stance.
Because now I want that one you're making.
Mm-hmm, right.
As long as the pumpkin
you have
doesn't
made
shrink.
that very, very obvious.
There's no denying. Hold on.
Hopefully that's not too loud.
It's not too bad. But I'm right here. So.
It might have paid to have cleaned this airbrush out a little bit since the last time we used it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Did it really clog it up since the last time? Man, this is going awesome. So far, I haven't done anything except put some black paint on the bottom of that. And now struggling with an airbrush.
More air.
That I should have cleaned. Well, yeah, more air would help. But this is thin enough that should have just gone right through it. Clean this up real quick.
Wow, I realized today I have 6 airbrushes. That must be nice. That's a lot.
I haven't bought a whole lot. Even this one was given to me.
You have a bigger one too, though.
But just like I was saying before, I haven't bought a whole lot because normally when I do my videos, I want to show everybody that you can get cool colors without having to
Keith says, and that is
use an
why
airbrush.
I stopped using airbrushes all the clogging and cleaning. That's true. They are kind of.
They're finicky.
Mm-hmm. He likes finicky. He likes me.
All right, I'm gonna have to go rinse that out.
You're gonna break something again.
No, I'm not gonna break anything. I want to see if I can get this to work. If all else fails, we'll go back to a brush. But if not, we're going to use this.
Just don't trip over.
All right, talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Have fun. Woo, we're talking to Carrie. She's here.
I am. I'm tired though. I would not be very entertaining. That's funny. All right, Axman, I'll tell him when he gets back. I'm like over here, hanging out by myself. That's probably a good idea too, the soapy water. A couple suggestions on here. Talk to the pumpkin. All right, Keith. I don't have to anymore.
What suggestion? What do we got going on?
Okay. So I have the same problem with air. Plug the tip with the paper towel, then hit air. It should do a blowback in the airbrush. Windex works great for cleaning airbrushes out when done. And then we have a friend of mine soaks his airbrush parts in soapy water overnight after using them with latex paint. And then Axon says it's probably chunky paint. Always happens when I paint latex masks. And then all of the latex kind of floats right off.
But the thing is, the only thing that'll shot through this is tanning solution.
Yeah, it probably clogs it up.
know what I'm hanging on now. Get back in there.
This is entertaining.
Is that you?
That's what
yeah,
I
it's entertaining,
said.
right?
I said it.
I don't get much more
Smartass.
entertaining than that. Mm-hmm. There we go. That's pretty. That's pretty right there. Okay.
It's a learning process. I got a $100 airbrush. I absolutely hate it. The cheap ones work the best. Well, that one I think was a little more expensive, wasn't it? That one, like we got it for free.
I don't remember. My neighbor gave me this one. He was like gonna do model. He was gonna play with models and stuff.
Hey, Cooper.
And then he all of a sudden decided he wasn't gonna do it anymore. I don't even think he made one model. And then he just brought it over. He's like, "Hey, you want this?" I was like, "Yeah." I mean, who's gonna turn down something for free?
Cooper Paxton's on here.
Cooper Paxton, one of your
Students, yeah.
students from
He says,
school.
"Hi, Miss Olson."
Oh, that's funny.
I love it.
Okay, let's see what we got going on.
Might be a 2-part live painting session.
Right? That's possible. Yeah, there we go. You know what?
Harbor Freight has a really good one for $10.
I honestly wish that this was in my garage instead of down in the basement because I got a real air compressor out there. I could deliver a lot more air pressure to this little gun. But like I said, I don't do a whole lot of airbrush. Man, this is so weak.
Wow.
Wow, what?
All buds and handles. Now she's staying. Because he has 2 of those. He has a snap-on one too, or he wants one. I want one. I want.
Yeah, she's spraying a little bit. The coverage is still thin. I'm gonna see what it does, and if it doesn't do what I want, then I'm just gonna hand brush it on. Well, let's see. Nope. Okay. I am not fighting this all night long.
Just run water through it with no paint.
Yeah, I did, and I got the water running through it, and it blowing good. Paint acts like it's too thick. I don't know, but I'm not gonna fight it. We're gonna go back to a brush for now, and I'll play with this one later. I was only gonna do that because it was gonna be faster.
It only wants you to be able to spray me, not that.
It's probably needs a real good cleaning because I have been spraying her tanning solution through it. So I've been spray tanning her, and it's been a month or two since I've really cleaned it. So it needs to be all tore apart. And I'm not gonna deal with it right now. We need to paint.
Axman says could be the hole on the cap is plugged. It's all good. Only happy accidents.
Mm-hmm. That's right too. I forgot about that cap. This is gonna be way too watery to paint with. Yep. Yeah, buddy. That's too thin. Oh, I bet that was loud.
Carb cleaner will clean it great.
Yes, it will.
It's got some of that. We killed a
wasp quite a bit of that. We're gonna want some yellow. Oh man, I don't have very much yellow.
Yep. Will these not work then?
Oh man, that's so thin.
Oh.
That's the problem. I mean, that's why I bought them so I could shoot them to the airbrush, but it's so thin that painting is not going to be. That's going to be a nightmare. So we're going to do this. We're going back to
start throwing paint on it. It'll be fine.
tried and true unhinged way of painting, which is rarely an airbrush. Ooh, this is brand new. I haven't even popped into this yet. Look at that. There's nothing like forgetting you bought a brand new bottle of paint. That's a little happy surprise right there. What?
He says I bring lacquer thinner home from work to clean mine, but it eats the plastic fluid hoses.
Yeah, I see this one. This brush has got a few little O-rings in it that I could take out, but this old Pache I used to use, which I lost all the
Give it a real good shake.
pieces to. This is all metal. There were no O-rings in this. I could shoot carb cleaner through it left and right, and it was great. It would always clean it out. There was nothing in there for it to screw up. This little, this one on the other hand, is
finicky.
A little more finicky. God dang it.
I can't really see what you're doing, just so you know.
I'm just mixing paint.
I'm just saying, in case somebody wanted to know.
I'm taking some orange and some black. I want a base to light. Instead of light to dark. I mean, you can do it either way. But I always start off with like a, man, I'm going to pull that to the side too. That's still like a muddy looking orange color for my pumpkins. And then I'll continually lighten it up from that point on to make a cool little gradient in the paint. That way I can make all these creases in here stand out. You could do the same thing by just painting it all orange and then doing a wash over it or whatever. But
do you have to have this right here since you're using this? Can I flip it and get off my phone? I mean,
yeah. I mean, as long as you can rotate that and look at it and not, I just won't be able to see if stuff's in the shot. It's the only thing, but absolutely.
Well,
You
I can
turn
tell
it
you.
around.
It doesn't
Okay.
matter, or I can come over there.
Yeah, you can spin it. You can take
When
it
I
and
use
spin it.
nightshades from Motion Picture FX, it needs a really good shake for a minute or so.
Yeah, right? All right.
I can come over there. It's not a big deal.
Man, I can't remember what I even based this pumpkin in originally. Because she's not really wanting to take the color at the moment. It's like it's got... I swore that was just a latex that I put on this to begin with. I don't know. That's been so long ago. There's no telling. Even that's really thin. Even that's thin. Mm-hmm.
They're talking about paint palettes and stuff. Different ones to have. They have all kinds of cool paints, Jay.
I've never bought, that's the thing. I've never I've never spent any money yet on any, like, really quality paints, right? Like, everything I've ever done, even the Pumpkin
cheap.
Demon, all that stuff or whatever, it's always been, like, cheap all the way, right? So this is Apple Barrel or whatever, from Walmart, and then other ones that aren't even that brand of acrylics. And I've always just whatever was cheap and I could find was always what I bought and worked with. So I haven't worked with any quality paints. I mean, when I painted motorcycles and stuff, that was a lot different. But doing this, I never did. I guess that was the biggest goal when I even started doing any of this stuff, was to see, like I've said before, Mache is not the most, not nearly the fastest, not nearly the strongest thing to make things out of. However, it's cheap. So when I first started doing this, I always wanted to figure out how cool of an item can I make with the cheapest stuff.
Hey, you have a question? Cooper wants to know, where did he get the idea from?
For this?
Yeah.
Coop, this was just in my head. I like pumpkins and I like Halloween. I think you know that because I think you've been to this house on Halloween.
Yeah.
But I like pumpkins. And I like creatures like that. And you've seen those man-eating plants and things like that. And to me, I was like, oh, we do a kind of a hybrid of a man-eating plant, and it would be basically a pumpkin instead of the stereotypical man-eating plant.
He likes to make pumpkins look like anything but what they are.
That's the big thing. Like, I want the whole yard to be the crazy pumpkin creatures, right? Like, I need to rebuild another pumpkin dragon, and I want just these weird creatures. Like, the pumpkin patch has gone bad, right? And it's just, instead of pumpkins come up, these scary creatures the pumpkins have morphed into all kinds of creatures, like the pumpkin spider and all that different stuff. And
Axman says Little Shop of Horrors.
right, absolutely. And that was a great show, in my opinion.
I love it. It was a good show. It was kind of corny, but I loved it.
Yeah, I really like Little Shop of Horrors. Mm-hmm. I keep forgetting Cooper's on here. Hopefully I don't cuss too much.
Oh, he's heard it all, I'm sure. I don't think he'll go tell his mom anything. It'll be okay.
All right, we're going to flash drive this. All right, this is going to get noisy again because I'm going to speed all this process up by doing a little heat gun. Dry this stuff up in between layers. And yes, Keith, I saw you buried your gun. I just throw mine in the trash when they die. He posted it.
Oh.
A couple weeks ago.
Cooper says I won't tell. I know him too well.
I really want to get this pumpkin painted up first before I paint the stem. Because once I start painting the stem, I'm going to run out of places to hold it. I don't know, X-Man, I might get a little too aggressive and melt this pumpkin down just trying to dry it. All right. Yeah, see how dark that went? That's still pretty light. So I'm going to run this again. Probably going to run this 2 or 3 times until I get more of a solid coloring on him. But anyway, once we get past this, it'll start getting fun. Once we get a good layer on these, this lighter colors will come right out. I'm used to the camera being kind of over my shoulder when I'm filming so they can see what I'm doing. No, it's okay. Hopefully, as I turn this thing, as I'm painting, you guys can see the
I can see the color
difference in the colors as they start coming up.
Axman gave you $50 because he says it's amazing that it's paper mache. Because Axman's just awesome and he loves us. And we love him.
Yeah, I do. I
Not
can't.
just because of the money either. It's just, it's awesome because you like us so much. It makes us happy.
The support is amazing. I can't thank enough for the support at all. Because I really think, here's the deal, after this guy is done, after this painting session, then anybody, how many we got on tonight? 11. So not so many tonight. We have 15, 18. So probably not next weekend, but here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and do, this one's done. So then the next live deal we're going to do is going to be like an actual live class. And we'll start out, I think we're going to start out and we'll do a pumpkin, but it's going to be a cotton ball pumpkin. So I'll set up a date for that first class and I'll get out a list either on Facebook or through YouTube, all that stuff of the supplies that you'll need. And then we'll do full on live class. I may have to start a little bit earlier. And the first night we'll just build the armature and stuff. And we'll get that all done. And then that armature can set and dry for the week. And then the next Saturday or whatever, we'll come in and start doing details and stuff. And then if you guys, that way you guys can do it right along with me at the same time. And if you have questions, and right then, like I can answer those questions and even show you live on camera how I deal with certain things. Because the cotton ball pumpkins look super cool. They're super light, so they work well on projects like this, but they can be finicky when you're doing it. You just got to have a little patience. You got to have more patience than you do than paper clay.
Axman says I'm really interested in learning how to do this.
Well, we'll do that because then that way everybody can start from ground zero, and we can do an armature and all that junk all the way through. But that's the man. You guys like Psycho. I know you do a lot of clay, and I know Keith, you're doing a lot of clay and the molding and stuff or whatever. And Mache is a little more finicky or a little more unforgiving in certain areas, and you can make it look super cool. You just have to take the time when you're doing it. It's definitely not fast at all. Nothing fast about it. But it's cheap, baby. Cheap, cheap, cheap. If you don't got a big pocketbook, it's a great way to make things. All right, let's make it loud again.
He thinks it's more relaxing. Probably why he likes it more.
Until you get super frustrated and crap doesn't go right, and you got to wait for something to dry, and then it either slinks down or what. Man, it's got its points that are super frustrating too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to take a third. But that's starting. The coverage is getting a little bit better. That's starting to look a little bit better. That looks pretty decent in the camera. That looks solid.
Yeah.
It ain't solid. That is not solid at all. I can see a lot of black through that. Well, it looks good on there, right? The camera adds 10 pounds. It also adds more color to your project than what's there.
Okay, Izzy Pop, I got one half done from one of your videos, but my biggest problem is if the cotton balls get squeezy. Is it squeezy? It really effective though.
If your cotton balls get squeaky.
Squeaky. I thought he'd be like squishy.
Like squishy, like full. That's the thing with I'm not sure I understand completely the question, but I can tell you.
Hi, Kimberly. Must have a beauty filter on.
But I can tell you that when you're doing the cotton balls and stuff, depending on
on the pumpkin lettuce. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Depending on what you're trying to achieve, like you can fluff that cotton ball up and then barely run mache paste over the top of that, and you can keep like a curve or a hump into that, and you're just basically sealing off the top of that cotton, right? And when you do stuff like that, it's going to take a couple of days because you'll have to let that dry, and you let that hump dry. And if you're using wood glue and water, when that dries, it dries super hard. And then you come back in the next day, and you really lay more stuff down on it and add even more to it, where you really load them up with mache paste, and it does get pretty squishy. It does want to fall off depending on what you got going on. That can get frustrating. And if you're always loading the cotton balls up with a whole lot of paste, you got to put several layers on them to get any kind of depth out of it. But we'll go over all that. We do a class on that, and I'll be able to actually show you what I'm talking about.
Okay, I have a couple things. Hexman says that's the artist in you. Sometimes when I do oil paintings, I get annoyed too. And then Tammy says, how long will this last outside?
So This one, and here's something I didn't do either. So, man, if you wind up with this one, you're going to have to you're just going to have to watch it because generally before I do this color paint, I seal it with spar urethane right off the bat, and then I prime and paint over that spar urethane. I didn't do any spar urethane on this one, so we're just painting it, and then I'm going to spar urethane afterwards. Uh, because this thing is light and because the wire armature that's in there is pretty stout and it holds shape very well, man, this could last a long time. I have no problems like building this and putting it out for Halloween for 30 days. You'll stay out there the entire 30 days. I'll have no problems with it. It can be rain, it can get stormed on, all that stuff. I'm not going to worry about it. It may soften up in some spots depending on if I didn't get sealed up good enough. But because the armature is strong enough underneath, if it does get soft, once the sun comes back out, hits it, dries it back out, it will harden back up again. And then you just move on. I don't really have problems with mold. If you are, sometimes the bottoms, like if I have my pumpkins sitting on the ground in the grass, because the water never kind of gets away from that. By the end of 30 days, I can get some mold buildup on the bottom of that. When that happens, I'll just clean it off the bottom of it and I'll hit it with some, gosh darn it, not rubbing alcohol, but
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
when you clean the wound,
Just
not rubbing alcohol,
peroxide?
Clean up with some peroxide and stuff, then that'll kill that mold, and then flip those pumpkins over, let them air out and dry before I store them again. I don't really have any problems with it. But if you were just going to leave this one outside forever, I don't know. To be super honest.
He says it doesn't rain much, so I don't think he's worried about it.
It's been raining a lot here, especially the past 3 or 4 days. We got they're calling for another 5 to 7 inches of rain this week. And we're still not completely dried out. We don't need a flood.
Please no. We already dealt with one last
Yeah,
summer.
I don't need that.
Okay, Keith says, have you ever tried coating with clear resin for a final coat?
I haven't, but I want to. I think that would work really good. A good clear resin poured over the top, as long as I can get it to where I have time to manipulate it. That way I don't have any goopy spots or any of that crap. Resin would work. I don't know why it wouldn't. I think it would work just fine. I think you could probably even take, and you're going to love this, Keith. I think you could take these, and once you're all done with them and stuff, you could go buy just fiberglass resin and not use the fiberglass mesh, and then just put the resin right over the top of it, because that dries pretty clear, and let that create a shell too.
And Tammy says, thank you.
For?
I think explaining about the outside.
Oh, right on.
Asked. You get to rambling and you forget what you're talking about.
Well, that's what happens. I'm trying to entertain myself, so I know if I'm talking about something, then maybe these guys are not too bored. All right, so I'm going around this thing with the exact same shade a couple different times. I'm going to lighten. I'm going to lighten up this orange. So we're going to get to being such a dirty orange, we're going to make it a brighter orange. And I'm going to stay kind of away. I'm not going to paint like on these center creases in here. I'm not going to bring the brighter orange into the center. I'm going to stay away from that and make that a gradient with some dark in through there. That by the time we're done and I've pulled lighter and lighter orange on this, that'll look darker and darker in there. And if I have already made it too light now, once all said and done, I still got some of this darker orange. I can hit it once again. Let's try this up real quick. And see, when you're painting like this, if you have a bigger pumpkin, a lot of the times, by the time you're back around to the front on a bigger pumpkin, the stuff you already did is almost already dry, and then you can just move on to the next layer. And sometimes it's good to move on to the next layer so it's a little bit wet. It makes it easier to blend the colors. However, if it's too wet, then you'll pull, like in the center there, you'll pull that color away that's underneath and it'll work against you. So really, it's kind of a, so it's kind of a, what am I trying to say? I don't know. Double-edged sword. Yeah, there we
go. Okay, I'm emotional tonight. All these people are making me sad. Or not sad. I'm going to cry.
Why?
Just because my people are on here too.
Oh, because
Kimberly and Coop.
Kimberly's on here. People you know are on here.
Mm-hmm. She's watching because she loves Halloween and she loves me.
Well, there you go.
Okay, sorry. Get back to it. Could you just seal it with clear wood sealer when it's finished? And it's so evil looking. I love it. It was Axeman.
Axeman's on both of those?
Yeah.
Like what kind of clear wood sealer, Axeman? Like basically.
Haven't you used like Vac sealer before?
Yeah, so basically I'm going to seal this with a spar urethane. Spar urethane that I get is just a wood sealer that you would get from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. That type of stuff. But you got to pay attention to that junk too, because at least in my neck of the woods, I used to be able to find clear spar urethane all the time. And now it's like, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter whether I'm at Lowe's or Home Depot here. I'm having a harder time finding clear. There's always like they're putting a stain or something in it, and it becomes you just got to watch it, because if it's got a stain, like I've got one that's got some stain in it, and if you do have one that's got a stain in it, then whatever colors you're doing, you really, really, really got to brighten those colors up a whole bunch to where it doesn't even kind of look Halloweeny anymore, and you're kind of like, eh. But by the time you throw that back on, it's got the stain in it, it'll darken back down and mute all those colors out, and you're back to a Halloween looking color. And you can get them in, you can get spar urethane in matte, you can get it in gloss. A lot of times the ones I pick up are gloss. And then if I don't like the gloss look after I've got it sealed up, I'll hit it with a clear matte spray paint and just knock the gloss off of it. So I haven't had, if I seal them up really good, no. I've got some pumpkins, Axeman, from like 10 years ago or so, and the paint has kind of faded on them a little bit. The best thing that anyone's going to do, or you should do if you're going to use these, is get in the habit of maybe resealing them every year, just to help keep that UV light from changing the color of the paint, because that just happens. It's honestly part of the problem of being outside with it in the sunlight. Yeah, I'm for sure. The other ones you do, and I put these pumpkins on, I'm for sure doing a layer of paper clay over them.
A layer of what?
Paper clay over the whole thing, because it sucks the paint up better.
Oh, okay.
Like way better. You falling asleep, babe?
I'm pretty tired.
I know.
Making me work outside today did me in.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Your daughter wanted to be able to swim.
Well, me too.
seeing out. This Cam isn't here, and you guys got to actually come out and help out.
Dang it. Okay. Action says it's part of aging. It makes it even more cool. Then Cooper says, "What is your favorite thing to make?"
What's my favorite thing to make? Pumpkins. Because they're easy. So pumpkins are easy, and I enjoy making them. There's not much stress involved in them. However, I like to challenge myself. Like when I did that big werewolf. I don't know how many of you guys have been along for a long time. I know Psycho has. I'm sure he saw the werewolf that I made.
That was awesome.
It was fun. It was cool, and it was challenging because it was just something completely different. And I was able to make this huge life-size werewolf that didn't look too bad, and it was all made out of household products, paper mache and
like bottles and stuff.
Water bottles and 2-liter pop bottles and stuff, and it turned out pretty darn cool. And I was pretty happy with that. So I guess my favorite thing to make is whatever I'm working on, except for this rabbit I'm working on, and I have gotten to a point that I hate it.
He hasn't even worked on it for like 2 or 3 weeks.
I need to get it finished up because it's going to be a video. But man, I have a real hate relationship for that project right now. Am I still okay?
Yeah. Keith says, using the exterior clear varnish. Use the exterior clear varnish so it has UV protection.
Yes. Everything that I seal with for exterior is exterior stuff to help with UV protection. Dude, I didn't realize there were so many pits in that. But I think later on, after tonight, I'm going to do like, okay, you guys can't see those pits because this was that cheap foam stuff from Home Depot that you're supposed to set posts with. So anyway, when it was all black, that wasn't so noticeable. But I'm not going to do it tonight. But after this is all dried up, I'm going to take those spots since they're there. I'm not going to fill them, but I'm going to go ahead and paint those like moldy.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Where it looks like it's got mold growing on it.
Psycho says that I like it. And Izzy Pop says, is paint or spray sealer better? Are there pros or cons to both?
Do I have, is that spray your thing right here behind me in the gallon jug? No.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it may be outside. The spar urethane I buy it in a gallon at a time at any Home Depot or any Lowe's. It's pretty thin. If you don't have a sprayer, you can take a chip brush and use it because if you use a brush, it's going to ruin it. A lot of times, I've got a couple of actual automotive paint guns out in the garage, and I can dial those up with some pressure. And then when I'm going to run spar urethane, I will just run those through my paint guns and spray it on. Because a lot of times you spray on, it's easier to get in those hard to reach places, right? But and it's faster. You can line up 4 or 5 projects and just hit them all at once. As long as you're getting that sealer on there and you're getting it everywhere, that's the main thing.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you just got to be able to get it sealed, especially if it's mache. Are you having a private conversation there?
What?
With one of your
on my
friends?
phone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Kimberly.
That's what I figured.
Just talking about me leaving Old Navy because it sucks. Didn't want to interrupt you when you're art talking.
Well, didn't she quit too?
Kimberly Mommy is.
Oh,
Teacher.
yeah. I got you.
You're thinking of someone else.
Yes. I totally am.
Hey, I just figured a picture of her with a pink and
I know. I saw.
okay.
The hardest thing with doing this stuff live is, God, I keep looking over there. You guys are, is in the back of my head, I'm always worried about keeping you guys entertained and talking instead of like generally when I'm by myself, when I'm painting a piece, I'll just zone out.
Hold on. I think maybe Izzy pops in because it says thanks. You two need to spend a lazy day to more relaxing. We will try, but I doubt it'll happen.
I'm gonna try, but we're gonna have stuff to finish up outside with that pool.
And then we have a new person on here. Or she's back. Berlin.
Berlina Davis.
Mm-hmm.
She's late.
I'm late. Was working on paper mache pumpkins, spell book, and others. Ooh, that's cool. I wish we could show pictures on here. She's working on paper mache pumpkins.
Oh, spell books.
Spell books
cool,
and
sweet
others.
spell book. I remember doing spell book back in the day. I really wish they could put pictures on that chat. That'd be
so
sweet.
Cool.
Yeah. Someone sent, I can't remember who it was, someone DM'd some pictures the other night after we did this. They looked really cool, but it would be so much more interesting if you could do it in the chat where like everybody else could kind of see what you were working on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I refuse to go live on Face Planet.
Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like I said, as I'm doing this, I didn't lighten this orange up yet. It's still stayed the same color as the lightning before. Just so I could make the orange a little more solid. Like I said before, I'm staying away from those deep ridges with this lighter color, and that way we get some contrast between the ridges and the brush. See, like with a airbrush, you can paint this orange and then come back with just a darker orange and spray right down the center there, and it does a nice little fade for you. It's real fast and you're done. You know, how easy is that? Oh, thanks, Kimberly. Is that a cat, a painting cat? That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Number one, I think. Yeah. It's hard to see it.
Yeah, I think that's like stickers. I think
No, so
there's options for stickers and stuff. Yeah, I saw all that. I'm not sure how all that works. Mm-hmm.
Axman says, what will the base color of the trunk be?
Well, normally it would have been black. So where were we at? How many people did we have?
You only had two that were saying like a greenish color, and then a green, and then Axman said that he liked the brown,
I like the brown too, because most of my pumpkin stems are brown.
If you're gonna make it look roddy up top, I feel like you should make it look like that down there too.
Yeah, all the way.
Yeah, because if you're putting it in holes, you said you were gonna make it look
like it's rotten, if I make it look like mold. So I'm probably gonna base it. This is pretty dark. I mean, I like. That's hilarious, Psycho. I'm probably gonna base it then in a dark brown, and I don't have very many browns. That sucks. I should have brought some browns the other day. So I'm probably gonna take some. Do I have enough brown? Mm-hmm. Oh no.
You can make a brown.
Dude, really? Yeah, I wasn't thinking that sucks. I totally wasn't thinking about that. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna base it in a darker brown, and we're gonna go some lighter browns and some other stuff, and we're just gonna cross our fingers and hope I have enough paint to do that because I'm unprepared. But the leaves need to be. If I'm painting this brown, the leaves can't be. Maybe they should be yellowish or something like they're dying, or like fall color or something. Because the leaves normally be green. I don't know.
But are they though? Maybe they stay green. Maybe they're just special.
I guess you know what? It can be whatever color we want it to be because
Right. Because it's us making it and, well, you making it, not me. But nobody else.
my pumpkin creature. There's no other ones out there, so it can be whatever I want it to be. Just
Yeah.
like when I did my pumpkin spider, and everybody tried to give me so much slack that it wasn't a spider because it didn't have.
Everyone did.
He said it's only got 3 legs on each side, and spiders don't have 6 legs. And I'm like, this one does, because that's how I made it. I caught a lot of slack over that crap.
Only 3 months to start decorating. My gosh, really?
I was thinking about that the other day. Only 3 months. I wanted to do some bigger, some more pumpkin jacks and some other stuff, and I'm like way behind on.
You should quit
making
playing in the
crap.
pool and, putting a brand new pool thing.
I tell you
up.
what, I could if I shut down the honeydews, I could make a lot more Halloween stuff.
Honeydews. What honeydews are you doing?
Let's see. You guys wanted me to get the pool up and running. Everybody was complaining about that at the beginning of the deal, so I'm working on that. You're gonna want me to get that car running,
I just want the car running, yes.
so I'm gonna have to work on that.
Fall colors would be cool on leaves. Axman says.
You know what I should have done? I bought those leaf things from the
Oh.
Dollar General store that are fall. I should have just glued those on here.
Nah, it's better like that.
It would have been so much easier. Oh my gosh. Whatever. I'm too. I've always made everything, so I have a hard time. It's there. I have a hard time buying store bought crap and putting it on anything because I like to make things extra hard.
Okay, so Brenda, green towards roots and slowly dying and turning brown, going up. Out,
Hey, that's a good idea. Like do some green down here and then fading it into browns and stuff up towards the top. That's not a bad idea. Because then even when it's set out in a yard where it was at, if it's on the lawn's still going to be kind of green, or at least around here it's still green around Halloween time. That would.
Oh, Axman really. Oh, I love that idea with the roots.
I do too. I kind of dig that. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do, and if it looks ugly, then we'll just paint it another different way.
It's just paint.
Well, you guys will just see the ugly part. Okay, I gotta lighten this up a little bit more. You can bail, babe. You don't have to stay down here.
I'm fine.
I know you're tired.
These are cracking me up.
Go. That's funny.
I'm not pussing out yet. This is turning out so good. I better start working. Stressed. Thank you. That was nice. Say it looks so good.
I appreciate that. Okay, so I've lightened the orange up again, and I'm going to say further away from. I want to say further away from the centers. I got a little bit brighter orange, so I'm going to be like stopping right out in here, brightening that up. I'm going to be adding some yellows here pretty soon. It's still kind of patchy in real life, but it'll work. Heat gun, Harbor Freight Special. I think I spent like $15 on that. And it's done a lot of heat gunning through the years. A lot of heat gunning. Man, I'm breathing heavy. I can hear it. Sound like an old fat man.
You should sleep next to yourself.
Well, I sleep right with myself.
If you could just hear yourself, though.
I am myself when I go to sleep.
You know what I meant. Smarty pants. That's what I need. I need a GoPro and go live with a GoPro. But I think before I do set the class thing up, I'm gonna figure out a way to put that like on something that I can like bring down and like show close-ups of what's going on. I said I would do that.
Right, well, where you don't have to hold it all the time. Like if I put like a hinge on the table or something over here with a deal that I can just like kind of and just move it down and let it sit there for a moment or two, or even like lock it in for a little bit.
Well, you've gotten some money given to you. You could probably do that.
Well, it goes into.
I haven't gotten anything.
That account. But it all YouTube pays out like a monthly deal.
So you detail the top, then work your way down. Next one.
So, as far as the pumpkin itself, like the pumpkin or just the overall project? The reason for this particular project, the reason I'm starting with the pumpkin, one is it's fun, but like with no paint on this, then I got the option to turn and hold and do whatever, so I can really get all the detailed paint on the pumpkin. So that's the only reason I'm painting the pumpkin first. But when I do paint pumpkins, yeah, I just have a habit of starting from the top of the pumpkin and working my way, way down on each one of those sections. And I don't know really why I do that. I just have taught myself to do that, I guess. And I'm comfortable with it. And I'm not spending a lot of time on paint on the bottom side of the pumpkin because you don't really see it that much, but it does need to have some color on it. Mm-hmm. You gonna fall asleep, babe?
I just can't quit yawning. I don't know. I feel fine.
That's how super exciting I am. She's just over here falling asleep.
That's not why.
She's like, yeah, whatever. I've seen you in the living room paint before. I really don't care. See, and I should have sanded that down too. Look at that nasty goober of crap right there.
If it's a raw pumpkin, who cares?
I may have to paint some rot detail onto that later on to make it look rotten.
Well, I felt like that's what you were going to kind of do. So.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to. So it looks a little more.
Or something. I mean, I feel like it would have stuff like that.
It looks a little more cohesive.
Oh, Cooper, how long does it take start to finish?
This particular one. So let's consider the fact that the pumpkin was already made. I already made the pumpkin with some foam, so we're not going to count that in. So what? The first live deal, we were down here for 2 hours,
hours.
2.5 hours.
We've been down here for probably 4 hours, and then tonight's another hour so far.
So we're 4 to 5 hours into it so far. And then tonight, depending on how detailed we get with the paint, and that's not including dry time or whatever, but actual physical working time, we're 4 to 5 hours into it right now.
I like all these questions he's asking you. Really good questions.
Yes, those are very good questions.
I've taught him well.
Yes, you have.
He's an inquisitive kid, anyways. This is how he is.
It's it's dry time with Mache that makes you spend a long time. I want to re-black these eyes out, and I may water some black down and let that kind of drag down out of the mouth too. I've done that before, it's looked pretty good. And then I've done it before and it looked horrible, and I had to repaint the whole pumpkin. Well, I did that with that pumpkin out of the wood clay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it looked terrible. It was driving me crazy, so I had to repaint the whole thing. I couldn't handle it. You were making some funky noises.
It's not my fault. Wow. Making fun of me, that's rude. All right.
Is the camera starting to pick up now? The depth, the difference in the paint, how we're getting a gradient between the lighter to darker, and we were all one solid color just a little while ago when we started this.
It looks really cool, I think. But if someone wanted to mass produce this for sale, it's a better option to use HPLV spray gun to base it.
Yep.
I wonder if alcohol inks would work on it if base coat was dry. It's looking really cool.
Dude, I guarantee that was Psycho, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I guarantee alcohol inks would hold up and work well. You can just spray them right on. Guarantee it. The thing is, especially if you're if you're shooting that stuff like on raw Mache, like this is raw basically, and especially if a guy does the toilet paper Mache clay recipe, because that's like basically white when you're done. So if you don't do a base black and you're just going to spray inks and stuff or whatever, and just go at it that way, yeah, it would just take that and absorb that stuff right up, and you just have a heyday painting it. But yeah, mass producing. The only way you're going to mass produce this thing,
you have to have a mold or something.
Yeah, you would have to make the stem. We'd have to make the stem and stuff, and then mold the stem, and then make your pumpkin and mold your pumpkin separate. You need to mold these things in pieces like a model, and then just plop them all together, glue them all up, and paint them. That way you could really rock and roll with them.
Which type of paint goes on first?
For me?
Obviously.
So.
I don't think she was here whenever you started. So, no, she came in late, remember? I think.
Normally, I go spar urethane first to seal it. Or, when I've done it past and works well, if you just go buy like a latex outdoor paint, like an exterior paint for your house, I used to base everything in black all the time and work from black. So a lot of times, instead of using spar urethane at first, I would use exterior black latex paint, base everything in a flat black latex paint, do all my color paint after that, and then spar urethane seal it afterwards. Anymore, I spar urethane and I just paint it black with black acrylics, whatever, and then color paint after that. As far as the pumpkin, how it started, depending on if that's what you want to know, we made a. I made a real. I took orange and I made a real muddy orange, and then I lightened those oranges up, and I did the whole thing first in the muddied, kind of dirty orange first, all the way around, and I've just been lightening up the orange from there. Now this is getting light enough. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some yellow to this orange, and I'm going to brighten this orange up even more, and then we'll end by doing a yellow kind of dry brush over the top of that.
Actually sounds interesting. See, I'm learning.
Whatever. He probably already knew half the crap.
Just take a compliment and let it be.
Let's see. Let's get. Man, I wasted a lot of paint tonight. I wish I had some little cups.
Well, look, 20 more bucks. So there you go. Buy some more paint.
What, dude? Seriously, brother, I appreciate it. Wow.
We need to come up with something new to say to him.
I'm gonna have to. Need some kind of bell or whatever. He's gonna go broke. I'm gonna feel bad.
Obviously, he's not, or he wouldn't do it. Oh, she wanted to know for weather protection.
Weather protection, yeah.
Okay. You need to do a dance each time, Kimberly says. Get up and just do a real quick dance.
Get up and do a dance every single time?
That's what we need Cooper for. We could have Cooper here and he'd do that for us. I guarantee it. Or one of Kimberly's kids. They have enough energy. Or Kimberly herself.
All right. Now I've really kind of lightened this orange up, so it's gonna really start to stick out.
No, she says thank you. Sorry for having to go through it again. Oh, it's not.
No, it's fine. I will re-answer questions over and over and over and over again. Doesn't matter to me. If you guys are asking questions, and I can talk.
He loves to talk. Trust me. Can you not hear him? He's like rambling. Of course, I am too, but.
Shop towels. This is one of my favorite things to mache with as a skin because it dries up super hard. Mopar for life.
Where's
That's
the dance?
hilarious.
I didn't see a dance.
I'm not getting up.
There you go, Kimberly.
Okay. Every time I start painting this, I'm never paying attention to if it's still in frame.
It is. Cooper says it looks so real. It does.
Thanks, dude.
You're right. It's crazy how he can do that.
Oh my God, my eyes suck. Close up. I'm gonna have to go get them tested.
I need to go back. I'm gonna pull out for reading glasses too. I'm getting old.
Well, it irritates me when it affects this, and that bothers me. I don't like that.
It looks good.
I know, but I don't like losing focus when I'm working on stuff like this. Look at this nasty goober of orange right there. That needs to get out of there.
I feel like the camera should be behind you.
Yeah, I know, because you guys can't. I mean, you can kind of see what I'm doing, but you can't see what I'm doing. Whenever I'm starting, let's see. Can we? All right, this is not good for me. But,
I can move it.
That's okay. Generally, I'm starting because this is so much lighter at the top, and kind of really towards the center, and I'm staying away from those edges with this brighter orange color, and then really coming down and staying just more towards the center the whole time, just to create that gradient from light to dark.
Axman wants to know, what was that one moment in life that made you want to make art?
When I was too broke to buy something cool for Halloween. That's the truth. That's the truth. I've always been like, I've always made things. Like I was a kid, I grew up doing models and stuff, you know, Mopar models and Chevy models, you know, cars and stuff like that. And so I enjoyed those, and then I would paint those up or whatever. And I got into RC cars for a long time when I was a kid, but I was always making things. I like to make things. Used to draw a long time ago. I thought it was fun. My brother was really good at drawing. He really impressed me with that. But what really pushed me into this stuff was I wanted cool junk for Halloween, and I never had the money to buy cool junk. So I taught myself how to make cool junk.
Have you ever used burlap glue on for textures, or even ripped up for small vines?
Burlap glue? Or burlap and glue? Like I've used burlap. Like I've got a little, he's not in here. I got a little a little pumpkin guy I made. He's for inside decorations. And I made a pumpkin head, and it was all on top of a Pringles bottle. And then I used burlap to basically make the like this cloak body type of thing.
I think I might have put him on.
And yeah, gosh darn it. I soaked the burlap in my Mache paste and then put it around it and molded it to it. Kind of like, I don't know if you've seen, there's a video on my channel called The Rum Reaper.
Oh, yeah.
And there's one that's not so long-winded, and there's one that's a long-winded one. Basically, the idea and concept of that Rum Reaper, I did the same way with this pumpkin guy, except I used burlap instead of an old t-shirt.
Yeah, I think they're all put up.
What? Why? Because you don't have makeup on? You're pretty without makeup.
Axman says, mine was watching my grandma draw with pencil. She would make the coolest drawings. R.I.P. Mary. Aww.
Well, that's awesome. Right now,
I don't want to say last name wrong, so I didn't say it.
I kind of agree. My grandma, she was, she did a lot of sewing and stuff. Like she made, when we were kids and stuff, she made like all of our, oh, gosh darn it,
she made,
Christmas stockings.
Yeah. And she made a lot of ornaments.
Yeah, so she made like a lot of homemade ornaments for trees and stuff. And then she made these real cool Christmas stockings when we were a kid that were like really detailed out with Santa Claus and all this different stuff on it. And she was always doing something.
I feel like all grandparents were like that, though.
Yeah, she was always doing stuff. Like I said, my brother used to draw. I did some drawing, not as much as he did. I kind of struggled with it. I felt like he was just way better at it.
I think some people are more natural. It comes natural to them.
But what really pushed me to start, like, I guess, sculpting, whatever, paper mache and stuff, and doing what I do now, was wanting neat stuff for Halloween.
Yeah, but tell them about the first time that you made your first Halloween prop with paper mache, but you didn't sell it with anything.
I told that story
You did?
last time.
You
Mm-hmm.
did? I didn't hear it. And I was with you. You're crazy.
Did I not? Who was here last week or the first week? Who's been here since we started this whole thing?
Axeman.
Axeman, you've been here every time.
I know there's other people, but
Didn't I tell the story about the first paper mache thing I ever made? That totally went wrong. See if I can get my daughter down here to make me drink. I'm terrible. What? I'm sorry. I'm live. I'm texting my daughter.
do a dance. I need a dance.
What's the
He got it. Oh my gosh! Stop. I feel like a little kid.
It's
I'm
from the Goonies.
embarrassed.
The truffle shuffle?
Do you make aliens? I like the craft spaceship with some aliens around. It's not scary, but fun. He's never made aliens.
I haven't made an alien at all.
But he made. Wait, he made something before that looked almost like an alien, and it was one of my favorite characters that he ever made. And he had like, what was that
Weed
eater string coming out of it, and it was so cool. And I swear it looked like an alien. But he hated the thing. Is
okay.
it not on there?
So I made this dude. Okay, so
yes, you told the story about the.
Thank you. I knew I did.
He did.
I knew I guessed.
Was I asleep? You guys are just.
You just weren't
really?
paying attention. You were here but not paying attention. See.
I'm dead. That was so funny.
You're like your daughter.
I'm not like my daughter. She's like me. Thank you.
Okay, hang on. So, how many of you guys have watched? I keep looking at that. There was a movie. How many years ago was it? It's been quite a bit.
Don't do that here. This is selling a product. I'm sorry.
That's funny. You okay?
Oh, this is so funny though.
Whew. Years ago, man, there was this movie that came out that was called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. I'm pretty sure that was
the teeth one.
Yeah, yes. So they had it was called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, and they did this like this twisted idea basically on the tooth fairy. And these people moved into this house or whatever, and these little creatures lived in the walls, and they would eat. They ate kids or whatever. So the people made some kind of a deal with them that if when the kids lost their teeth, those things would take those teeth and eat the teeth instead of eating the kids, type of thing. But in the house was abandoned for a long. So anyway, these creatures come on. These creatures were like they were little big, but they were hunchback. They had kind of a thick body, and they had a big spiny back and real narrow legs and hands, and they were super cool. You okay? So I wanted to make a big version of that.
My sister used to call them the egg-headed people.
So that's where the creature she's talking about. I wanted to make a big one of those. So I tried to make a big one of those.
Sorry, keep talking.
And anyway, so that was a long time ago. My first years of even doing any of this, and I made this dude. And he was all. My wife just thinks it was great. It was okay. It wasn't great. If you go look on my channel and dig all the way back to like one of the very first videos that was ever put up, I think it's just a video that kind of shows the yard, and even the yard was pretty sad back then. That creature's in it. I think I even have one where I was making him, and it's just kind of like where I took pictures. And so it was a picture and then the progress type of thing with some music behind it. I think it's on there too. But
I'm typing as you. Guys, it's me, not him. But anyway.
What? Yeah, sure, whatever you're seeing post on there, she's typing. It's not me.
Somebody else, Doll Babies, Reborn, gave you $4.99.
Oh, thank you.
Where's the dance?
Doll babies. I'm not dancing anymore. That was it. Then you get one truffle shuffle and that is it. Done.
Kimberly, I'm trying.
No more.
I guess I could dance, but I don't want to. You guys don't want to see me dancing right now. I don't know if I could dance. Oh, and Axma says you're a really good storyteller. I didn't know if you knew that.
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
Talking is good for a class. It is. You're right.
Thank you, Sissy. Is your foot okay?
It didn't hurt.
You sure?
Yeah, I just clipped it with my pinky.
Are you still playing Sims?
Of course.
Of course.
Kimberly and Cooper are on here. They're watching your dad.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah, because they're not just sitting around playing video games. They're being entertained.
Cooper might be doing a couple things. Oh, you never know.
All right. I know I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. I made the orange lighter, and I'm just staying further away from the edges of the pumpkin.
Kimberly says, do you have a theme for your yard display this year? And I am playing video games while I watch.
Kimberly is, or
Yeah,
Cooper is?
Kimberly is.
I'm trying. So here's the thing: if I can get enough of these things made, I really want the theme to be basically all pumpkins. But that theme really coincides with this story book thing I want to write, and it's about why we put pumpkins out for Halloween. It's a new twist on the legends of why people put jack-o'-lanterns on their porches. So I'm really trying to, over the next few years, I'm trying to take the yard to basically theme out that story. So the cool thing is, if it ever works out, if I ever get the story, if I write the story and ever make it into a book, and if it ever becomes something that people buy and they really like I would like it to be the next Nightmare Before Christmas. And if that were to happen, the most awesome thing would be all these kids that come over to the house trick-or-treating, they would be like, holy cow, I've already seen all those characters. I know where those characters are at. I've seen them in Baxter at the Halloween house.
Cooper says he's cooking dinner.
Cooking dinner.
Yeah, look at Coop can come cook me dinner.
It's like steak, man.
I know. We're not the
Much
right
better than the
house.
pizza we had tonight.
Lazy, we ordered pizza.
It was a long day.
We got $20 more for Maximum.
I know I shake my head, but I appreciate it. I don't know how to convey that. I super appreciate it.
I think he knows. To be honest. You're a really interesting person.
Well, absolutely.
Sometimes. I have to be ornery. I can't help
You
it.
are being honored. I want to try to get this to.
It's like a sleep.
See, I didn't dry that off before, and I pulled some of that. See that where it's dark right there? I pulled that underpaint out.
I don't think it needs any more paint.
Well, we're going to go with some yellows,
Oh.
some straight yellows, and then we're going to be good there. Because what'll happen as this really dries and dries more, it'll darken more.
Mm-hmm. If you thought the depth in those eyes and the mouth now is amazing.
And I'm going to go back and hit the mouth with some more black, because for you guys, that looks great. But for me, there's a lot. So I'm going to hit this with black again. The depth really comes out here. I like that. The thing is, when you're doing this, like if you paint like this at home, the more extreme you kind of make this, really the better off it is, because after a couple days, when the paint really cures back down, it'll flatten out. So it becomes more kind of uniform. And if you're really wanting the high contrast, you need to really grab it now, because you'll lose it once it dries.
Axman says it's so evil.
That's what. Oh, bleh, bleh.
Wasting more paint.
I know. I need to get some little cup deals so I can put some of these in. Oh, I put that in the wrong one. Nice.
What'd you put it in?
Nice. That's
paint?
got Mache paste and crap in it down the bottom. I really clogged that gun up now. That's hilarious. I thought I had to clean it before.
Well, at least you know what to do now. People have told you. You have a lot of different options, anyways.
Whose cat is that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a cat. That thing's awesome. It looks like Dobby mixed with a cat.
It's crazy looking.
It's awesome. All right, let's see. See that, baby?
Especially when you're really close to it. And sometimes you just need to back up and look at it. I agree.
I completely agree with that. 100%. All right, let's pull some of this yellow on here.
Bob Ross.
That's right.
Can I just show them what you're doing?
I don't care.
You told me earlier not to, so. Sorry, we're gonna go for a ride. Okay. Putting yellow on now. It's really hard to see it in the camera, though.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard to pick this up, because this is going to be really light.
It already seems yellow to me from your screen, but it might look different on other people's. I don't know. It's in the same spot you had it, but
We'll get it there.
I was just trying to show them a little bit, but it's really hard to see it.
The lighting in here isn't super good.
One person's view is someone's joy. Pretty true.
See, now I'm concentrating. I quit talking.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, nobody's talking or asking questions. Okay. Do you have inflatables too? Or
No.
is most of the paper mache stuff you make?
Everything, 99% of everything.
Or is
Right?
mostly the paper mache stuff you make? Sorry, I stated that wrong.
Yes. 99% of everything that's in my yard is mache stuff that I made. So I don't do any blow ups.
Camera lady, tell the story. I am not good at stories. Not as good as he is.
I don't do blow ups. I try to make everything. Most of my props, like my pumpkins, and I got some witches and some ground breakers and all that stuff. Those are all made from mache. And then I do have like some tombstones. I've made a few tombstones from mache. A lot of my tombstones that I have are made out of foam, because it's just easy and quick.
This is coming out amazing. And then what is the biggest thing you've ever made?
Hands down, the pumpkin dragon.
Is it the biggest?
It's absolutely the biggest. Because when I stood that thing up on the back of its head where the neck would have connected to, and then
No
to the top of the snout, that thing was that was over 5 foot tall. It was taller than I was.
But
it was almost 6 foot tall from the
right,
snout
but
to the
one
deal,
of
and
the
it was like
best things he made that probably
4
was
foot round.
bigger was that werewolf.
It wasn't bigger than the thing.
But I said was
Oh,
no,
it wasn't bigger?
No, it wasn't bigger, but it was better. Like the detail.
I don't know. I thought the pumpkin dragon was pretty epic.
It was okay. It wasn't my favorite. But that's just me. It doesn't matter what I think. It's not my Halloween. I just give out candy. And help the little kids whenever they're screaming and crying and their parents leave them at the door, which is so horrific sometimes. It's kind of sad. There you go. No cat story, Axeman. I'm giving you a story about little kids that get left at my doorstep to get candy, and their parents literally run off, and they just sit there and scream and cry. It's terrifying.
Those are the best parents ever.
No, it's sad, especially if they're like 2 or 3 years old. It's like so sad. It's like you don't have to leave the poor kid. They're already terrified to come in the yard. Kimberly, that is why we come before it gets dark. No, you're just being weird. You need to bring your kids after dark. I'm sorry. It is a lot better after dark, I have to admit. But you wouldn't leave your kids on the door, so it's okay.
That's the thing. You come in the yard, you're fair game.
Yeah, he has had a couple people upset, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should.
I have had some people. I had one guy got real upset, and I don't know what his deal was. I mean, because a lot of times, I mean, even that year, there were people. They were waiting in line for like 45 minutes to an hour, and you're watching everything that's going on. And this dude, he got all kinds of grumpy, and all kinds of threatening.
I mean, you don't have to come in our yard.
Nope.
Nobody's pulling you and making you.
Well, those parents that are pulling and making their kids come in, well, you're awesome.
I don't mind that, and I don't even mind sometimes if they leave them up there. I mean, I will take them down. I have no problem with that at all. I love kids, like I adore them, but I feel sorry for those kids.
See, I've got and here's the cool thing on Halloween time, because I've done this in this little town forever, right? So there are people that graduated like a few years before me or just with me or whatever, and they've brought their kids all the time.
Well,
So
Kimberly's one.
uh,
She just said, I'll never forget getting chased into a car when I was in middle school. Top 5 scariest moments of my life.
that's awesome. We always chase them into the cars. But so one of my friends, he's had a daughter, and so they always brought the girls. We got a pickup truck, and they'd always bring the girls, and half the time they wouldn't get out, and so over the years they get a little braver and braver. Well, one year they got out, and then one of my buddies was a clown, and he's out front working the deal, and the girls got to the yard, and then we're messing with them in the yard. Well, in the meantime, they gave the keys to the truck to my buddy.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Told him he could drive the truck. So he got into the truck and waited, and then the girls come running, dive into the truck, and he's still all in clown mask and everything else. And so they're freaking out. We chase him into the truck. They lock the doors, and then realized the clown's in there, and then they tried to unlock him, and then he locked the doors and fired the truck up and took off. It was awesome. Those girls were freaking out. Drove them around the block and then brought them back. It was so awesome. It was so funny.
Cooper says that he has those parents.
And then I had a couple just a year ago, 2 years ago, I had another scenario where I went out, because generally I'll stay in the yard, and then I have buddies that kind of work the sidewalk and stuff or whatever, and kind of work the cars. But I went out because there were a couple of kids that were really kind of punks. The mom was out in the street in the truck, and I thought someone was like in the back of the bed of the truck. And so I asked her if there was someone in the truck because I was going to go try to scare someone in the bed, and there wasn't. But she's like, "Oh yeah, you can get in the truck." So I was like, "Okay." So I just hid. Another one of my friends saw me get inside the truck, and I got in the back of it. And so when these kids come off the porch, and these guys, these boys, they're boys, they're like 12, 13 years old, something like that. Man, he runs them to the truck all the way across the street, and they come around, they're screaming, he is on their tail. And they open the door. There's two of them. One kid's right behind the other kid. He opens the door. He's getting ready to dive into the truck, and like I'm right there, just whoa! And this kid, his eyes, they got about this big around. He screams, backs up, smacks the other kid behind him in the head. Boom, boom! They both fall over into the. Oh, it was just awesome. It was so funny. And the mom was just sitting outside. She watched the whole thing, just laughing so hard. It was hilarious. I have a lot of fun. A lot of fun on Halloween night.
And you got $10 from Axman and from Hollow Tree Creations, and
Well, thank you, Hollow Tree. Thank you, Axeman. Thank you, Hollow Tree Creations.
and then you have a question: is what kind of lighting do you use? Any black lights?
I tried black lights a long time ago, years ago, back when technology isn't nearly as good as it is today. And what I was trying to black light up outside didn't work very well. And then I just kind of stayed away from black lights because I was outside. And I haven't tried it again being outside.
And
So,
then Axman says, "See, it's moments like this is why I like monsters." True.
absolutely.
I hate being scared though.
But so that's the thing too, which is cool because I've done it so many years. There's one girl, I don't know her name, and she came as a little girl, was always scared, and then as she got older, I would see her, and she'd be out in the yard, and she got in her 20s, and she was still out there, and she'd always grab me and be like, "Hey, I've come every single
Doesn't she
year."
still come?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's like, "I've come every single year. I love to see it. I can remember being a kid and being scared, and now I just come to watch." And then last year they were here, and she brought some of her friends, and they were in the truck drinking. They were drinking wine, watching because I was trying to figure out. Well, I thought the truck had kids in it, and then I went up to it, and it was them. She's like, "No, I had." So that stuff I think is cool, right? When people have been around for a long time and they've had kids or they were kids and trying to go through this and just kind of hearing some of those stories, it makes it worth it for me.
Make paper mache clay tombstones. I like it better than foam board.
Oh, right on. I did. I've done a couple. I can't talk. I've done a couple of them. I like them too because I like the texture it makes. But I like foam too. I'm not gonna lie. I do like making some tombstones out of foam because it's just faster and easier.
Except for when it gets really windy and they blow away. That's always fun.
Well, that hasn't happened since I started rebarring them into the
Right.
ground.
Sure.
See, I've been doing this for a long time, and I used to. Oh, right up there, I guess. I used to all my tombstones are foam, and I took like old hangers, right, and I cut the hanger wires and made them straight, and I poked the hanger wires in the ground, and then shoved the styrofoam on top of the hanger wires, and that works, and it did pretty good. But man, when it got windy, there'd be tombstones 3 blocks down the road, and I had to be chasing them, and I finally wised up and started staking them in the ground with rebar.
Yeah, I wonder.
And ever since I started doing that, I've never had problems with them blowing away.
I wonder if you can find pictures from every Halloween and
Like-
post a video of like every, because it just shows the difference in the way that you've done things.
Oh
like
yeah,
when
because
we
that one,
used to
the
do-
dragon, the big dragon.
Well, yeah, because he's made a huge dragon, but it was out of like little wood pieces, and then what is it called? What kind of?
Just that black plastic, that bisqueen that
bisqueen,
guys
yeah.
would make, just basically haunted houses out of.
Yeah.
Because I used to have this thing for dragons, and I would always make this. So I used to make these big dragons all the time. And a lot of times they were halfway through the yard, and I would just put crap out in the yard, right? And then drape black plastic over all this junk and tuck it all in
And paint
and
it.
made it look like the body of a dragon. And then I would make a head out of junk, wrap it to look like a head, and then I would just take spray paint and I would spray paint all the scales and all that stuff onto the dragon, and then and they just lasted the 1 year, and then I tear them apart, and throw them away.
They were really
Well, they were always pretty cool.
The last year he made one, we have to find a picture. I think he even won something from like the news record when we actually had one in Baxter. No more, but he like won like movie tickets or something, didn't he?
Yeah, we won movie tickets for
something like that.
Scariest
Yeah, it was
Halloween
really cool.
house or something.
But anyways, okay, so Axman has a story. In 1985, my uncle was babysitting me. I was watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, my favorite movie ever. I decided to put a toothpick with ketchup on a white shirt and walk out to him. He freaked out. That's great.
That's so funny.
So that started your wanting to scare and be silly. To me, it's almost
That's
like you're
funny.
being just funny and scary.
And there's for people who scare, right? If you don't scare, you don't understand it. But if you're a scarer, and when you really scare someone, I'm like, really, you see it in their eyes, like they completely lose their cool. They lose their shit, and you can see it in their eyes when you completely get someone like that. That is so funny, and you just know you've done it. Because you're not out to hurt them, but when they really, really lose it, it is. I mean, you're just laughing on the inside. It might seem mean, but it is so funny. And if you're a scarer, if that's what you then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about.
I am not a scarer, so I don't understand. All I know is I am very easily scared, but
Oh
if he
yes,
scares me, I will probably never.
So my wife is one of the easiest people on the planet to scare, and I can't scare her because she gets pissed off when I do. So I can't do it, and she scares so easy. I mean, so easy.
But I'm really good to ask questions about, like, would this be scary or not? Because yeah, I'm scared of a lot.
Okay, I'm liking that, but I don't. Can you guys see the yellow?
It's really hard to see it on there. I feel like.
Man, it's hard. You guys can't really see that at all.
But
okay, so take my word for it. I've got a lot of bright highlight. It's the yellow when you're doing these pumpkins. At least for me, this is my opinion. Everybody's got their own opinion on the way they want to paint and what they want to do. But for me personally, when you end up on the end of your pumpkins and you're doing a dry brush on there and you're doing that with yellow at the end, that really pops. That this yellow really pulls a lot out.
If I could use my camera to
and it's such a good look. Let's see if we can do this kind of close. Here we go. Hang on. Let's not get motion sickness. But man, you still can't really see that yellow. You just can't see it. This camera just doesn't.
No, it isn't showing it.
It doesn't pick it up. I wish you guys could see it in real life. The camera just doesn't pick it up.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Anyway, it's those moments in life that make memories. You're right, Axman. And then that's evil and stunning at the same time, pretty much what he said. And then what got you into scaring people? Cooper wants to know.
Cooper wants to know.
Isn't it your dad? Because your dad started this, didn't he? Kind of?
Mm-mm.
I thought he did some stuff like that.
I started it with Dad's overalls.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Okay, Coop.
I can't keep
so here's how the whole thing started. As a kid, your age, whatever, man, I loved Halloween forever. I love the creepy feel to it. When we were kids, which is a lot different now than what you guys are, Mom and Dad didn't drive you anywhere. You had buddies. You put your costume on. We went to school, which you guys don't. We went to school in our costumes. We spent our whole day in the costume.
We did.
You come home from school, and then you got with your buddies, and then you and your buddies, you went and walked the neighborhood or the couple neighborhoods and went trick-or-treating. And when I was a kid, the season seemed to be a little bit different. So by the time Halloween came, all the leaves were really off the trees. It'd already be dark, and it was just spooky. And at least when I was a kid, more people, at least in this town, most people had a minimum of at least 2 or 3 pumpkins on their porches. So everybody had some kind of a Halloween decoration. It was spooky. It was fun. I loved like dressing up in a Halloween costume and pretending I was somebody I wasn't. So Halloween always rang. I really liked. I like the feel of it. I like the spookiness of it. And then once I got to a point where it felt like I was too old to go trick or treating, that's when I started scaring people. And I started one year when I was 15 or 16. Ran inside and grabbed a pair of my dad's overalls, and he was asking me what I was doing. And I told him I was going to scare kids that came up. So I took his overalls and I had a wolf mask, and he was a bigger guy. So I put his overalls on, and I stuffed the overalls full of newspaper, and I put on one of his shirts and stuffed it full of newspaper, and put that wolfman mask on, and went outside and sat in a lawn chair. And then as the kids came up and got their candy, then I jumped out at them and scared them. So I looked like a dummy sitting out there. And then when they came up, raw. My dad thought it was hilarious. So then he was giving out the candy, and I was scaring all the kids. That's how the whole thing started.
And you did that for many years with your friends and stuff too. They
Mhm.
would set out there on like wood posts, and it would have stuffed paper in the outfits, and then the guys on that day of Halloween would get in those and get rid of the post, and they would just stand there and act like because the kids would see them for the whole month or whatever and be like, oh, that's not real.
Yeah, so that was the
Yeah.
thing back in the day. I got a lot more scares. I didn't make intricate, cool stuff like this, but I made dummies, and I would take 2x4s and jam them down in the ground and screw them together, and then I put the clothes on the 2x4s and then stuff those dummies.
Mhm.
And there would be like 4 or 5 dummies out in the yard in a certain pose. They were stuffed. They'd be out there for the entire 30 days of Halloween or Halloween of October. And then on Halloween night, I had like 4 or 5 of my buddies. They would show up, and we would get early before even the kids that come trick or treating at 4 o'clock. Someone would pick a dummy. You remember how he was set posed. You took it inside, you unstuffed it, you put all those clothes on, you restuffed yourself back out, and then they went back out, and everybody stood exactly
Mhm.
where those dummies were before. And then when the kids came in, they would be all come up, get their treats. They think everything's safe because they've seen it. And as soon as they come off that porch, we all came alive, and it was awesome.
So Kim Lewis says, I am definitely afraid of clowns, and every year I keep my curtains closed because I just know one of my children is going to dress up as one and walk outside the window. I love clowns. It makes me mad that people have turned them into that, but I realize that clowns actually scare the living daylights out of people. So
Okay.
I've gotten used to it. But the first year that we had a clown in our yard, one of his friends, I got so mad, and I did not want him in the yard.
All right. I'm going to shift gears from Halloween stories back to thanks, Psycho.
99 cents and $3, my hero.
Now, before we move on, man, we've been on here for a while now. Wow, I'm dragging this one out. Talking too much. I'm going to go ahead and darken all this up with some black in
They
here.
can't see
On,
what you're doing.
I know it looks good on the camera. Oh, see now, look, see
That
where you can
looks
see that
amazing.
orange in there.
Oh, well, it
We're
looks
going to
like
get rid of this
kind
junk.
of amazing.
So I'm going to darken all this stuff up in here with some black, and then we'll move on to trying to get. I want to try to get this whole thing painted tonight. I don't want this to be 12 hours long. Well, we'll go. Man, I actually need to rinse all that glue out. This junk out of here.
And then Axman says he was born in 1979.
I was in 76, right on, not too far off. We're the same age.
I'm 81, so I'm not there. But people don't decorate like they used to. We had a hard time finding houses that were handing out candy this year. It's Kimberly Monty. Yeah.
I will always hand out candy.
And it's not bad candy either, obviously.
No, that's the thing, because if you're going to come to my yard, I'm going to scare you, and I'm going to do my best to scare you. And there are a lot of kids that cry. But you do get
Good candy.
good candy.
Especially if you're one of my students You usually get really good candy.
I mean, you're getting Snickers and Kit Kats and Reese's cups and junk like that. There's no crap little candy or man. I don't know about this. Was talking about some age. Psychos probably. Can you? There was this candy when I was a kid, and it was wrapped individual wrapped, and they were like black or orange wrapper. That stuff
Some
was
people like
horrible.
that.
I hated it. I was always so mad when I pulled that out of my bag at home. I hated that candy.
No more faces. Aw, you can't make any more faces. Is that what you're saying?
No more face.
Oh, okay. I can't read, obviously. And Cooper said, yes. Yes, ma'am. I think is what he was going for. I think he got some of the good candy this year. Of course, he'll always get the good candy. He's not my favorite. Even though he likes to say he is. Better not say that on camera, I'll be in big trouble.
You guys are not going to be able to see this, but I've got to.
You want me to do it?
No, I just got to be able to see what I'm doing here.
Here, I can show him.
My eyes are getting so, even with these glasses, this is getting so.
Taking him on a ride, making him sick. But, you know, I'll show you.
We are going to.
X-Men says it's stunning.
Thanks, man.
Cooper's going to get me in trouble on live.
Okay, you don't have to hold it the whole time.
I know. I was just. They
Mm.
want to see too.
All right. Well, whatever you guys want to see or do, this is what I'm doing, that exact same thing on the next eye and then the mouth. I just want to darken all this stuff back down.
Now they can't see, so. Sorry, guys. I tried. Axman gave you $20. See, that's the art part. Yes, you're right. And Cooper says, yes, I am your favorite. Old Turkey's going to get me in trouble.
You'll think that whenever Halloween rolls back around next year.
Oh, no. He's not scared of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to just scare him now just to be rotten?
Mm-hmm.
You can just come in the back door, Coop. It's fine. Bypass it. Well, Kimberly thinks you should have Cooper help you scare. He'd be good at it.
I've had lots of youngins want to help scare, and I have
Stayed away from
I've
it.
steered away from it.
Not because you're mean or anything. It's just because it's better.
Only because I have a core group of guys that scare with me, and like I said, when you come in, you are fair game, right? We go after everybody, but this kind of core group, there are some kids that like lose it. Like they really just lose it.
Some younger people and kids don't know how to back off on that part.
Right. And so younger guys, a lot of times kids, when they'll just keep going. And when someone really, really loses it real bad, then we'll back off a little bit and give them some breathing room so they can try to recoup and move on. And that's why I try to just stick with the same guys that help scare every year. We all we know what we need to do. Everybody kind of has their own game plan. Now, if I ever got to a point where I could do like a walk through haunt type deal, and I needed some jump out scares and different things for people stationed up in a certain spot, then that may be a whole different story.
Cooper said that looks cool. Kimberly.
Oh, that yellow looks so
Get
good. I
this?
wish you could see it.
Is the base of the weight more to help it stay up in the wind, or do you stake it down?
So this one weighs a little bit more with the wood, and I did it on
I
purpose to
was
help
wondering
it.
what she was saying. How heavy is
I
it?
did it to help it to stand up. However, I probably should have like put some concrete in the bottom of this. So this will actually need to have like a hole kind of drilled into it, and like a short little piece of rebar drove into the ground, and then that rebar can come up into the hole, and then that will hold it and not allow it to blow away.
It's more fun being scared, is what Cooper says. That's cool. And then Lewis says, that's great that you back off. I was once chased 3 blocks by Jason with a chainsaw. Oh no. Chainsaws freak me out no matter if I'm scared or not. It just makes my back like I have to like move it up. I don't know. I freak out.
I got to clarify too. We only back off like on the ones that are really losing it, like basically hyperventilating, where they've really gone into a shock type of thing, or they're just outright bawling in terror, and then we will. But if you're just running, screaming, we'll chase you.
I think Kimberly's trying to come steal something from you, Jay. She says, I'm just kidding. Do you have cameras in case someone tries to steal or damage your work when it's on display?
No. However, the stuff in my yard is my stuff and my stuff alone. You can't buy it at Kmart. You can't buy it at Walmart. You can't buy it at Spirit of Halloween. So if my stuff comes up missing and I see it in someone else's yard,
You're going to take it back.
There's going to be hell to pay. There's two things. I'm a biker from long time ago, and I kind of got out of that lifestyle. But there's still some of that there. So it's either the biker comes out and we take the stuff back, or I let the police handle it. Either way, it's super easy to prove because everything that's in my yard is on YouTube. I've made every single one of them so I can verify every single piece.
I really love how Axman is already claiming this because he says, that's a really good question how to mount it in my yard. I could just glue it to a stepping stone. I love him. He's great.
That's funny.
You're right. You could just glue it. You know?
I think that's grim.
I thought it was pretty.
And that's funny. We got too many cats around this house, but our cats are all basically Halloween named.
Right there. Hi, baby. How you doing? Yeah.
Well, she's vocal.
She wants my attention.
She's like, "What are you doing in here? Why aren't you
Come here, baby.
upstairs?"
This is the cat that does not like anybody. Yeah, at all.
I want to add. We're going to add some longer trailers with this black here and pull this. They would creep this mouth out just a little bit more.
You're in your room for a minute. You use the restroom.
That's fine.
What do you want? I'm not going upstairs with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be Carrie's cat.
My baby.
Mm-hmm. You could totally do this a lot faster. I don't know if it's really picking it. It kind of is picking it up, but I've drug a lot of these lines. I pulled this black up a little bit further and down a little bit further. This camera still doesn't pick it up that well. Great. Just add a little more creepy factor to the mouth. Make it look like it's kind of cut a little deeper. Make it look a little more ragged. Mm-hmm. Still got 13 of it. 13 of you still sticking with me through this. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna have to take the dogs out.
Sure. Okay. You go ahead and take them out.
Well, I don't want to leave you. Have you been able to do it?
I've been watching. There hasn't been any new comments.
Okay. They knew I left the room. That's why.
That's probably it. I just can't believe I've still got 13 watchers after
2 hours.
2 hours of
You guys are dedicated.
watching me paint.
Watching while
I
build
can-
my own, always learning.
There you go. I'm not getting like when we do the class things, I can get it because people are going to be creating right along with it.
Hi, Rufus.
What's up, Rufus?
He's like, Mom needs
What
to
are
go
you doing,
upstairs.
puppy?
Hi, buddy. She's watching while she's building her own and has to listen to us. Oh, it's her first year making stuff.
Oh, really?
That's exciting. Do you like your stuff? Like some people don't always like their stuff at first. Actually, do any?
Do you follow me on Facebook too? Or are part of I've got a what's called Paper Mache Halloween Facebook group. Because all you guys, anybody that's following me anywhere else, if you're making things, I'd love to see it.
She does actually. Or I do actually. She doesn't know anything about the Facebook group though. She probably follows you.
Oh,
So you could probably
on the bot, there should be on this what you're watching right now. Like in the description at the bottom, there should be a link, a clickable link there to the Facebook group called Halloween Paper Mache.
Well, that's good that you like it. I remember Jake going through a stage where he really didn't like anything he made at first.
I went through a stage where there's a lot of stuff I didn't like, but then I went through the first stage. The first times I made anything, I was just like, "My gosh, I made this out of nothing! It's awesome!" And then I look back at it a few years later and I'm like, "Oh, really? You might not want to tell anybody you made that." Oh, let's pull this crack way down. Look at this. This may just screw the whole thing up, but we're going to do it anyway.
I'm going to show them what you're doing.
I like that. That didn't look too bad. I pull this deep crack right here, all the way down here. Look like it's more split. Okay, cool.
Okay. What brush do you use for details?
this teeny tiny no name Walmart 50-cent brush.
Well, it might not be wrong.
Look, it is. Look at that.
Okay, maybe it
Look
is.
at that thing wobble when I turn it. There's no quality to this brush at all. This and that there were hairs that were flipping out on earlier. I had to roll my fingers and get them to pull
All
together.
right, I approved you for the Facebook group.
I am cheap. I've almost spent some money on some like quality brushes, but I know myself too well. Like if I need to brush on Mache paste and it's a good brush that's close to me, I'm going to grab it and use it. So I would ruin high dollar brushes. So I try to keep myself from buying things like that because I know in the heat, in the moment of doing stuff, that I'm just going to grab it and use whatever I can. So I've learned to, and I realize there really is a difference between a quality brush and the way it lays paint and cheap brushes. And there truly is a difference. I have used some higher
Some of
quality
them.
brushes,
Not all of them though.
but I refrain from buying quality brushes because most of this work, Mache work, is dirty, it's nasty, it's gluey, and I use everything at my disposal for stuff they're not even meant to be used for. Okay, cool. So let me show you guys this. I think that looks a little bit better. I like that. He looks pretty raggedy there, kind of tore up. I think that's cool. Looks pretty mean. We got some pretty decent, on here. You can still see the definition. You guys just can't see this yellow, and it really sucks. I really wish you could see the yellow in this.
Yeah, that's
But he's
true.
looking
But
pretty
you
cool.
can tell that there's definition in it.
So he looks pretty neat. All right, what are
Okay, so
we?
you have right here. Cooper asked you a question.
What
What is your favorite thing you have made?
My favorite thing I made.
Would it be your dragon?
No. The dragon's up there, but honestly, right now, my favorite thing I've made is the pumpkin demon.
Yeah,
Because the thing's
recently.
freaking cool. He's super neat. I really like him, and I want to make more of those guys. So I would say the pumpkin demon. Then I would say second would be the pumpkin dragon. Then I would have to say the pumpkin spider. And then I would say the werewolf. But the one witch that I still use. So I made this. If you guys go back and look at my videos, I made this witch and I did the whole Disney deal. She had made a paper mache apple. She had this poison apple. She held the apple out. I made her. She's got like one tooth. Her head structure, because her head's made out of mache and her hands were, and an apple and everything else was just straight. Her head is still in really good shape, and that thing's been out there for I think close to 10 years. The hands have had some problems. The apple finally fell out because the glue I used on these weird fingernails I made broke, and then I wound up stepping on the apple. It blew, but I still have her. She's a runner-up because she is super cool looking. I always thought she was super neat. But she's not now. I want to make darker witches. She's still kind of a cartoony witch. Okay, what time is it? It is
probably about time to go, but the first pumpkin I made was a large pumpkin measuring about 64 inches around and 28 inches high. That's what
that's huge.
Yeah, I just added her to
That's a big pumpkin. Okay, I didn't get to this because I didn't get to this part because I wound up with so much on the head. And I'll just ask you guys this. Do you want to watch do you guys want to watch this being painted live? If so, I'll wait. We can do it again next week, and I'll pick up and do the vine part. I think I'm going to go with that whole thing and then fade into the browns on top. If you guys aren't interested in that, awesome. I'll just paint it on my own. But if you guys want to see that, then I'm going to do it again next week because I'm starting to wear it. It's been a long day for me with everything else that's gone on. We're working on 2 hours and 16 minutes now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hang here for a little bit because there's still 15 of you guys on here. You guys tell me if you want to see me finish painting all the rest of this thing out. If not, then I'll pause next week and then we'll do a class like the week after.
You ever sculpted with spray foam? I was wondering how difficult it is to manipulate.
No, I've never sculpted with spray foam. I messed with spray foam a little bit, but I do know because I watched. If you guys look up Alan Hops on YouTube, there's Loctite makes a spray foam that once you wait 5 to 6 minutes, it gets kind of tacky where you can actually push on it and squeeze on it, and you can manipulate it. That seems to be from everybody I've seen, and I played with some of it not too long ago, or a year or two ago, whatever it was. If I was going to try to sculpt with spray foam, that would be the spray foam that I would use because you can actually manipulate that one.
The number.
Number where? What are you talking about?
Where do you see how many people are on here?
Right here. There's 18 people viewing.
Okay.
I have 23 likes. We've been live for
Sorry, I've been trying to
2 hours and 17 minutes. So yeah, right here. That's always
crazy.
That's always the count of how many people are there.
Okay.
So
nobody's responded.
No one's responded on they want to watch that or not. Is it? So I got one vote. Izzy is all about watching this. So one that says, "Hey, yeah, I want to watch it."
Hold on, buddy.
We should go with the group, guys. Let me know. It doesn't matter to me because I'll do it because it's. If I do this tonight and go ahead and do this, we're going to be another 2 hours while I'm trying to fade and detail and do stuff.
Next week, couldn't you? I'd like to see it. Either is fine. Let's watch it.
Okay.
So I would say next week you could do it.
So next Saturday, we will paint this base.
That's fun. All right, Axman's vote is yes.
Okay, Axman's vote. So everybody that's on right now, next Saturday. We got something going on Saturday?
What paper mache group on Facebook? What's the name of it? Halloween paper mache.
The one I created is called Halloween paper mache.
Hold on, baby.
We're gonna here we go again. Next Saturday, I'll start at 7 o'clock again, which is 7 o'clock Central Time for me. We'll paint this base out, and I like the idea. I can't remember who said it earlier, but we talked about doing green at the bottom and then fading up into the kind of rotten brown towards the top. I like that idea, so we're going to try to go with that. See if I can make a nice blend on that. So next Saturday live, we'll paint the vine up, and this thing will be done. Then after that, I'm going to pause 1 weekend of live stuff, and I will try to get together a class where the following Saturday or whatever we do a live class. I'll send out information on materials that you guys need to round up and all that stuff, and we can just do a deal together. We'll make a pumpkin. I call them a cotton ball pumpkin. So we'll do a cotton ball pumpkin. I'll give you a list of materials that you need to get. The first class will be just making the armature. We'll get the armature all made up, let that dry. Then the next week, we'll do the next class, and I'll be doing details and stuff on the face. And then if we get through all that, then the next class will be a full paint thing. And then everybody can build it right along. I'll build it. I'm not going to be super detailed in my build because how I plan on doing it is as you guys are making your stuff, when you have questions, I will try to show you the answer with my pumpkin as we're doing that. I think that will work out pretty decent. So that's what we're going to do. Stay tuned too, because I still have 2 other videos that I'm making. Hopefully I'll get a video released next week that you guys can just watch on YouTube and we'll be live. Just another video that's going to be out there. Oh, yes, Psycho. I saw your email. Yeah, Unhinged Props. She's going to put it up here right now. Unhingedprops@gmail.com.
Whoa. Why did that go in? Oops, sorry. I'm not used to this thing.
GED.
Oh, yeah.
PROPS.
I was looking for the shift. Gmail. Why?
Yep, because you got to be careful.
I don't like your computer.
I don't like it either. Okay. Boom.
There you go.
That's it right there, Psycho. It's unhingedprops@gmail.com. Anybody that's watching that, if you guys ever have questions or you have pictures or whatever, you can send an email directly to that. I try to check it. I don't check it every single day, but I try to check it as much as possible. So that's one way to get in contact with me. So for those of you who want a class and you would like me to just email you the stuff that we're going to need, hit up that email, say, I'm going to be in the class. What materials do I need? And I can just email straight. And then other than that, I'll post a thing on Facebook. I'll post a thing on YouTube stories. And I'll post a thing on the Facebook group. And if anybody's following me on TikTok, because I got a TikTok thing there, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube.
You're on Instagram.
I'm on Instagram, but I haven't done anything on it. And I'm also on Pinterest. So I'll try to push all that stuff out there to all of those different deals.
Hi, guys. I got to take care of my dog.
Carrie's heading out. She's got to take care of the dogs. They're going crazy. They need to go out. They have to use the bathroom all night long. Now we got more people. We're up to 21 people. I'm getting ready to close this thing. More people get on and it makes me want to keep going, but this will take too long. Okay. I got a mess to clean up. Next week, we're going to paint the vine. We're going to get all the vine done, little leaves, all that. This guy will be completed. Probably another 2-hour session. You guys come join me, talk. I'll be a goober again. Probably not going to truffle shovel again, but anyway, we'll get this guy painted up. And that'll allow me to go get some brown paint too, because I'm not sure I've got enough brown paint. So next week, next Saturday, 7 Central, we're going to paint this. And then after that, we will start actual live classes. I'll do a live class on Saturdays and we'll do a pumpkin. So I appreciate, the class I'll probably start earlier. It's like I'll probably start like 6 o'clock my time, maybe 5 o'clock my time. I know that pushes it real early for you on your side. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. I'm going to call this one. I'm bringing wine next week. That's a good idea. We're going to call this one done today. I appreciate all you guys taking the time to sit here with me, do this and talk and meander. I appreciate all you guys that show support. You guys rock. Until next time, if you're making something, keep it up. If not, go make something from nothing. And I'll see all you crazy guys next Saturday. Later.